Turning to the private sector for high-tech solutions to national security challenges.
That was the aim of a first-time gathering today in Virginia Beach. 13 News Now military reporter Mike Gooding was there.
Well, and Janet and David, the idea here was a pretty simple one. Government doesn't have all the answers, and maybe some small businesses that aren't normally in the government contracting pipeline might.
Cyber security, it's all on everybody's mind.
According to the Department of Defense, there were 30 million known malicious intrusions on DoD computer networks between September 2014 and June 2015. For the Navy, the threat is especially acute, with more than 500,000 computers in use and virtually every operation on a warship, from navigation to weapons to engineering, relying on cyberspace for secure and reliable transfer of data.
But the reality is these all now have control systems that are used through electronics, networks. These are all interconnected, and these now interconnect throughout that ship.
And with today's rapidly evolving threats, developing a strong cyber resilient strategy for the maritime domain is essential. And that's where a gathering like the one at Sandler Center in Virginia Beach today could come in handy, with the Office of Naval Research meeting with more than 70 high-tech, non-traditional defense contracting companies like Cloak.
What we have is a non-algebraic solution to encryption, which basically means no matter how powerful your computer gets, it's not going to be able to crack what we're doing.
Cybersecurity contractor and former state delegate Ron Villanueva says people who mean America harm have no intention of letting up.
The bad actors are out there, but more importantly, we've got the resources, and more importantly, we've got the industry and innovators that could help combat that, and the Navy wants to meet with you.
And Cybercom, which has the overall authority over the 133 teams that the military services are building, has certified that the Army's 41 teams and the Navy's 40 teams of cyber warriors had reached full operational capability as of last fall. Reporting live, Mike Gooding, 13 News Now.